Support comes from the Rialto Center for the Arts at Georgia State University, announcing its 30th season in downtown Atlanta. The 26-27 Rialto series brings together acclaimed jazz, dance, global music, hip-hop, and classical artists, including Bela Fleck, Arturo Sandoval, Arrested Development, and more. The Rialto is also introducing new quarterly art exhibits and a new membership program. Visit rialto.gsu.edu to explore the new season, become a Rialto member, and sign up for updates. And from listeners like you. If you value in-depth coverage of Atlanta's creative scene, you can help keep us going. Your donation directly funds our production, research, and reporting. Visit atlartscollective.com and click support to contribute.
Welcome to the ATL Arts Collective, powered by ArtsATL. I'm Kim Drobes, and this is your home for stories from Atlanta's art scene with reporting from ArtsATL writers, conversations with artists, and voices from across the creative community. Each week, I'll be joined by a rotating co-host, someone you may already know, or someone you're about to be very glad you met. And today we get to welcome comedian and podcaster Joel Byars. Voted Atlanta's best clean comedian, he's also the host of the award-winning Hot Breath podcast, where he has interviewed over 400 comedians about their craft. Joel believes comedy is a way to bring people together, and he's partnered with organizations like the National Pediatric Cancer Foundation and the American Cancer Society to spread joy and laughter to those who need it most. Joel Byars, I am so happy you are here.
Yay! Thank you for having me, Kim. My wife is so proud that I am now a part of the ArtsATL community. So thank you.
Oh, well, you're so welcome, and please tell her I said thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, Joel has brought us a story today, and we're going to get to that in just a bit. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got coming up. Joel's interview will be with comedian Derrick Stroup. This is ahead of his upcoming Atlanta shows at Center Stage. Plus, we'll be hearing about this year's MomoCon, which kicks off tomorrow.
Later, Kim will talk to Adrian Jefferson from the Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs about this weekend's Atlanta Jazz Festival. Then, ArtsATL's senior editor Isadora Pennington stops by with this month's edition of Art News.
And that's not all. We'll close out today's show with ArtsATL executive editor Shane Harrison's picks for this week's Best Bets.
But first, MomoCon 2026 kicks off tomorrow, bringing together fans of anime, gaming, comics, and animation. The event turns downtown Atlanta into something almost cinematic, with the unmistakable energy of people finding joy in the things they love most. Having grown steadily over 2 decades, the convention attracted almost 60,000 attendees last year. Arts reporter Brittany Mackins has more.
MomoCon didn't begin as the massive cultural force it is today. Over 20 years ago, Georgia Tech student and now MomoCon co-founder Jess Merriman was part of the university's anime and gaming club. What began as a simple idea has evolved into one of the largest fan conventions in the United States.
Our first year was 2005. We were on Georgia Tech campus. We were a very small footprint, and we only welcomed about 700 people, but it was really, really fun for those 700 people. And this year, we're going to be at the Georgia World Congress Center in 2 entire buildings, welcoming over 65,000 unique attendees, or 180,000 total over the 4 days. And it's a really big footprint. It's one of the biggest conventions, square footage in the entire United States right now.
Many people who attend MomoCon today grew up being teased or misunderstood for their interests. But what was once considered niche or quote-unquote weird has evolved into an internationally celebrated creative movement. Merriman says it's rewarding to witness people finding a sense of belonging through the convention. She went on to say that one of the most meaningful convention moments is when they partner with the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
That is always a very meaningful experience because these are kids that have a lot of health issues, and it's an incredible experience to watch a Make-A-Wish kid get to meet one of their heroes, like a voice actor or an animation creator. We actually have a Make-A-Wish kid doing an experience this year too. And oh my God, it's amazing to witness the joy on these kids' faces.
The convention's commitment to community extends beyond fandom culture. Each year, MomoCon raises funds for charity.
This year, our yearly charity is Silence the Shame, which is a mental health advocacy charity within Atlanta. We like to stay local when we can because we want to support our immediate community.
One of the biggest announcements this year is MomoCon's collaboration with Wonder Festival, a legendary collectibles event held in Japan for over 40 years. This marks the first time Wonder Festival will take place in North America.
I'm really excited about it. Wonderfest, for people that don't know, involves a lot of custom creations of figures and models, and a lot of people put their heart and soul into making things that I guess most people would think are only produced by big companies. They're doing custom sculptures, custom designs, and it's really, really amazing. We have some creators coming that are doing really unique pieces that are one in a lifetime. Like, you're going to get it, and it's not going to be something you're going to find on every store shelf. It's very unique, very artisanal.
In addition to the collectibles, celebrities, gaming, and panels, there's a maker side of the convention that many attendees may not even realize exists.
I feel like not a lot of people know about our hands-on workshops. We have like crafting workshops, making pockets and dresses, making a witch hat, making a fairy garden, making all kinds of different crafty things. Some of them have extra fees for the materials. Some of them are free. We also have a craft corner that's available like the entire convention if you want to just relax and like get your hands on something and make something. I don't know. I really love creating things, and I love people that create things. So it's a big piece of MomoCon that I really like, that I feel like a lot of people don't always know about.
MomoCon reminds us that fandom, gaming, anime, and cosplay are legitimate pillars of contemporary culture and artistry. It's a reflection of what happens when community, creativity, and authenticity collide. For the ATL Arts Collective, I'm Brittany Mackins.
You can read Brittany's full story at artsatl.org. Now, let's take a beat and get to know Joel. Hello again. Hello. Joel, I love your comedy. I saw you many, many years ago, and it's been such a treat to watch your career grow. For those who haven't had the joy of getting to see you perform before, can you tell us a little bit about when and why you got started in comedy?
Wow. You just brought up the first time you saw me, which I believe was on the patio of a coffee shop.
Oh, no, Joel. I saw you once before that. So it was out in the suburbs somewhere. I don't know the name of the theater, but what happened was some weirdo who was there got super aggressive with heckling and threatened to physically harm you. And I ended up talking to you in the lobby about it because I could only imagine how it had felt on your end. As an audience member, I was kind of shaken. It was just a bizarre incident.
Yeah, that theater is now closed. Not sure why. But yeah, what's so funny is, I've been doing comedy 16 years, and every comedian has those experiences to develop in those early years of just crazy hecklers. You're performing on public buses or, in strip clubs even. me performing in a strip club, I look like a youth pastor going in there. It changed the mood, to say the least. But comedy is something I've always been passionate about, and I always wanted to be a comedian. And then my senior year of college, I was about to graduate in like 2 months and thought, well, I've always wanted to try comedy. I have nothing to lose. Sally Mae took everything. So let me try this comedy thing. I did an open mic in front of like 10 people, and, 3 of them were the staff, but it went sufficient enough for me to get the bug immediately after doing that first show. So when I moved back to Atlanta, I hit the ground running and was doing shows every single night, anywhere with a microphone. I was performing. So I still love comedy to this day. And those early years, I've learned from myself and from interviewing so many comedians is you've got to love it, because those early years are a grind. and it's
Yeah.
all for free. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
One thing that I hear a lot from Atlanta comedians is that this community is incredibly supportive of each other. Do you find that to be the case as well?
Absolutely. Yeah. And my podcast actually started to highlight Atlanta comedians. When I first started it, over 10 years ago now, it was to interview comedians in the community that I looked up to and wanted to learn from. And the
Um,
scene has only grown since then. People are moving to Atlanta to pursue their comedy careers, similar to how
oh,
people move here for film and different things like that. The comedy scene is so vibrant now that comedians are moving to Atlanta as a place to quote unquote get seen or get new opportunities and really challenge themselves and get on stage as much as possible. So yeah, Atlanta, as the ArtsATL community knows, Atlanta has a lot of amazing different arts communities here, and the comedy scene is one of those that I'm hoping to bring more light to.
well, you're doing a great job. I can't believe you've talked to over 400 comedians. That is nuts.
Yeah, I can't either. It just happened. I just stuck with it. I love comedy, but also love learning comedy. My mom was a teacher, so I also enjoy teaching comedy as well, and just all aspects of it. So really, the podcast is me asking questions I want to know, and it just so happens there's a lot of other people out there that want to know these questions as well.
Are you still teaching?
I am. I do them online now. I used to do them in person pre-pandemic, and then the location I was doing them at is no longer around. But if there's a theater listening that would like to add comedy to their curriculum, I would love to talk about it, because I love teaching comedy and just seeing the process of someone kind of facing their fears. Even if they're not wanting to be a comedian full time, it's a bucket list item for a lot of people. So it's really fun to kind of help people and take away the fear aspect of getting on stage that first time.
How do you recommend people get over those nerves for the very first time?
Well, the nerves are certainly going to be there. That's natural and that's normal. And the nerves mean that you care. And that's just a defense mechanism. But what will help with the nerves is preparation.
Hmm.
So if we're using the lens of comedy for an example of like doing like a 6-week comedy class or whatnot, there's a lot of rehearsal, there's a lot of writing and rewriting and feedback, and a lot of preparation that goes into you taking that step on stage. So wherever you're having that fear, what I have found to help me and also other people is just making sure that you prepare as much as possible. That gives you that confidence and that almost reminder before you go on stage and those nerves are balancing, that you're like, okay, well, I know I'm nervous, but I'm prepared for this. So whatever happens, I know I did whatever I can within my control to make this the best it can be. And just going in with that mindset will really help to at least not, mitigate the nerves, but at least to harness them into a positive outcome.
That is great advice. So, if someone in Atlanta wants to see you perform, are you still doing Funny Fridays in Sandy Springs?
I am. Yes, that is a seasonal show I do at the Sandy Springs Performing Arts Center. We just wrapped up our spring series, and we are about to be announcing the summer date soon. So you can definitely keep updated on that on my website, joelbyerscomedy.com. And that is something that, I had a child last year. Well, I didn't. My wife had the child. I just stood there and cried.
Congratulations to you both.
Thank you. And, it really changed my priorities as like a professional comedian. A lot of artwork is out on the road.
Mm.
And, as soon as my baby arrived, I'm like, well, I don't want to be gone. I really reprioritized and refocused on producing more local events, which is how the Sandy Springs event came up. And I'll do a lot of private events and for companies at holiday parties, and I'll produce shows for country clubs and like apartment complexes, and just wherever there's a community, as you mentioned in my intro about kind of using comedy to connect people and have a positive impact. And I've found that, nothing really connects people like laughter. And I've really found a fun new kind of side of my business. Instead of chasing the road and being gone that there's so much happening here in Atlanta that comedy can only enhance. So that Sandy Springs show has been a really fun example of that.
Oh, that is absolutely wonderful. So, Joel, you decided to bring us a story today about comedian Derrick Stroup, and it's coming up in just a bit. But can you tell me why you chose to profile him? I mean, I know he's coming through Atlanta, but why are you drawn to him?
Well, I was fortunate enough to open for Derrick last year in the side room of a comedy club. And just 1 year later, he is now doing 2 shows at Center Stage. And one of them's already sold out. And I just thought it was such a compelling story of a comedian who has stuck with it for over a decade now. And he's at this point in his career to where he's hitting that next level, that next tier. And it's just an exciting time to kind of capture this moment in his career. I was fortunate enough to interview him last year for my podcast while we were working together. And I just thought it would be great to reconnect with him and kind of share his story for the Atlanta community and just get a glimpse of the amazing comedic talent that is coming through this city on a weekly basis. And just first and foremost, he may be the funniest comedian I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of comedy. He kills on stage in a way that made me want to quit when I was opening for him and I was like, I had a good set. And then he went up there and I was like, oh no, there's so much work to do, but in a very inspiring way. But I really, for the people of Atlanta who hadn't heard of him, I really wanted to just shine a light on him and just hopefully they'll go see him live and experience it for himself before he's doing bigger and bigger venues.
Well, we are looking forward to that conversation. But first, Memorial Day weekend in Atlanta belongs to jazz. From May 23rd through May 25th, Piedmont Park will be the home of the 49th annual Atlanta Jazz Festival. At the center of it all is Adrienne Jefferson, the executive director of the Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs. She just celebrated her 1-year anniversary in the role, and it's clear she's not just set on keeping the lights on, but she is elevating the entire house. Her first fully curated Jazz Fest lineup includes acts like The Roots and PJ Morton and aims to draw music lovers from across the region to experience the latest and greatest in jazz culture. When I recently caught up with Adrienne, we began by discussing the intentionality and the story she's hoping to tell through this year's lineup.
I'm going to start by saying I'm so glad that people can see the intentionality because I keep hearing this feels intentional. This feels like y'all are trying to send a message. So this is really a lineup that my team and I put together to really reflect wanting to be able to really unify people of all generations through jazz. And so what you'll see here is that we have some legends, right? We have the Christian McBrides and the Kamasi Washingtons and the Esperanza Spaldings, but we also have the jazz adjacent music and where jazz is going, right? So we have the Destin Conrads and the Buddy Reds and the Roots that's also very legendary, but is more jazz adjacent because it's hip hop.
Right.
And so what we're trying to do is send a message about cultivating a new audience, right? We want to honor the legacy, honor where we have been, invite everyone in. We're not pushing anyone out. That is not the intention, but the intention is to say, here is the trend of where jazz is going and to keep it alive and to introduce it to new generations. This is what it looks like to have a lineup that is reflective of the future. And so it is really intentional in that sense. And I also think, this being the 49th, we have our minds set on the 50th. And so we're really trying to give a taste of the future, of the evolution of such a strong foundation. I mean, the Jazz Festival has been around. It predates me. It's been around for a long, long, long time. And it's really, honestly, it's to carry this torch is really an honor and it's not taken lightly. And so what we're trying to do is make sure that it is set up for the 50th and beyond. And so it was intentional in the sense where we're saying, here's what evolution looks like while honoring legacy.
I love it. All right. Well, that leads directly to this since we're talking about evolving. Is there any one Jazz Fest tradition that you felt was completely sacred and had to be kept? And alongside that, is there any one thing that you thought it was time to break that rule and try something else?
Oh, that's such a good question. Wow. Well, honestly, like the entire festival is really sacred. Most of it is based on tradition. It was funny because I carried the torch, as you mentioned, last year, and it was also my first time ever being to an Atlanta Jazz Festival. So I'm running it while experiencing it.
Wow.
Right. So I was like, oh my God. So one of the things I decided to do was get driven around in a golf cart and talked to the community that was there.
Yes.
And I literally just asked people, like, what does it mean to you? Like, why do you come every year? And what I learned quickly, and this is the part that answers your question about like what to keep, is that so many people, like, yes, they love the lineup or they're there for the music, but there's a lot of people who are not. They're there because it's a tradition for their family. They're there because it's legacy for them. They're there because it's establishing community. So one of the things that I became very apparent to me is like, oh, wow, this is about music, but it's not just about music. This is about preservation of culture, traditions, and norms that make sense for community. So the element that I would say in general, you'll see that we're keeping is that sense of preservation of culture, preservation of convening and bringing folks together. And the entire festival, like when you look at some of the changes that we've made, we've changed some things, but we haven't changed everything. I think that we've elevated what's already there. We have an additional VIP area this year. So we have, the VIP area that's served more as our hospitality tent in the past for like the artists and politicians, things of that nature. But we never had a VIP area for the general public, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, the VIP area, the general public wants an elevated experience. Like we need to give them that. So that's something that we decided to add on. We decided to add back an additional stage. So this year, we have a smaller stage that is our panel stage that's going to be in the footprint this year. So all of our workshops sponsored by Ebony Magazine is going to have a specific curated stage area in the footprint. We added more activations. So what we're learning when we look at the direction of festivals and what people like is they like experiential things. They want to, yes, listen to the music, but they're also looking at the entire experience.
Oh, I absolutely love this. Can you give an example of what's happening at the workshops you mentioned?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to share some of the workshops with you. And also, this information is available on atljazfest.com. But some of our workshops are writing for Indigenous sounds, jazz, identity, and memory. We have Jazz in Motion, blues as the foundation of jazz dance. Soul care, music and pets. We have stuff on women in jazz, songwriting and storytelling and sound. And then I'll see one last one. We're doing something with Afrobeat jazz, rhythm, roots, and evolution.
Oh, this is so cool.
I'm glad that you think that. I mean, it really makes me feel good that it's resonating.
And, you were talking about the VIP area for attendees. And sometimes when I hear VIP in relation to a festival, I cringe. I'm like, oh my gosh, these people spent so much money just to get into the festival. And now to have this elevated experience, you have to pay a little bit more. But that does not track with the Atlanta Jazz Festival because it is completely free.
Free. Yeah, it's free.
Amazing.
It's 100% free. And, we intend on keeping this free. We are one of the largest, if not the largest, free jazz festivals in the country. And,
Amazing.
Making it accessible for everyone.
So impressive. So I don't know if you can even answer this, but for you personally, is there any one act that you are most excited to see?
Oh my gosh, it's so hard. It's
know.
just such a good, there's so many people on here that I love. And then there's people I've come to know of while looking and learning at how do we make a lineup that is reflective of something that, jazz purists would want to hear and, all types of people would want to hear. So it took a lot of collaboration with my team and folks who are in different genres to sit down and say, all right, how do we do a mashup? And so I learned a lot. And I would say this whole lineup has gained a fan in me, even if there was a couple of people I didn't know of before. I would say the Roots for sure. I'm a big Roots fan. I mean, I was like, we have to have the Roots, right? So definitely the Roots. I would also say Destin Conrad. He's an R&B singer who's actually now converting completely to jazz music, and he got his start like just being going viral a couple of years ago, and he has blown up since then, and I'm really excited about his music. Cody Matlock as well, really like his music. And Buddy Red. Buddy Red is more blues and soul, but I'm excited about what he's doing as well. So I'm excited about the whole lineup, to be honest.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Well, you chose one of my favorite local artists to design your shirt this year. Can you talk a little bit about why you chose GFB3?
Oh, George Baker. Oh
My
my gosh.
goodness.
He, so every year I just couldn't be more pleased with what he has produced. And I feel like the community feels that way as well, based on the response that we've gotten about his artwork for the festival. Every year we do a competition. We release a call for artists and we ask people to submit a potential artist poster for the jazz festival. And this year we got a lot of great submissions, as we always did, but we didn't really get anything that was resonating with like what we just talked about earlier about this evolution, this spirit of jazz, this spirit of Atlanta. And so we put out another call, and then he kind of rose to the top. And when we were in conversations with him, it became apparent that we needed to commission him because he really understood the direction that we were trying to go. And he said, I know what y'all are doing. I think I got it. And he came back with this really impressive, not only artwork, but description of the spirit of Atlanta. And so when you look at his artwork and his breakdown of what he did for the artist poster, he will break down every element on how it connects to past Atlanta jazz festivals in the future, the evolution again, right? Like that's the through line, the evolution.
Oh, wow.
And it just really resonated. So we picked him because he got it. He understood where we are in this moment.
Yeah, he is a local treasure.
Yeah.
Adrienne Jefferson, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
More information about this weekend's Atlanta Jazz Festival is at atljazfest.com.
Okay, this is exciting. Fresh off his debut Netflix special titled Nostalgic, comedian Derrick Stroup is quickly becoming a household name on both his own tours and touring sold-out arenas with Nate Bargatze. Born in Alabama, his southern roots and relatable humor makes him a must-see comedian coming to Atlanta this month. In my 16-year career, he is no doubt one of the funniest comics I have ever seen. And just 1 year ago, Derrick was performing in the side room of an Atlanta comedy club, and now he is headlining 2 shows at Center Stage on May 27th and 28th. The 28th is already sold out, so save your seats for the 27th at DerrickStroup.com. When I recently talked with Stroup, we began by discussing the last time we had seen each other. Just to jump right into this, the last time we connected in Atlanta, I was opening for you in the side room of a comedy club. And now, just a year later, you're on the verge of doing 2 sold-out shows at Center Stage. You clearly hit a different gear. I won't take the credit. I didn't know if you got the Joel Byars bump there, working with me in the end. But, I mean, what has surprised you most about this big jump, good or bad?
Well, what's really cool about this, Joel, is that weekend, I had just got with a marketing company, Honest Fox, about 2 weeks before. And so they go, hey, we're going to come down to Atlanta and we're going to film a couple of these sets and just see what's going on, just so we can have some pictures, some reels, yada, yada. So they go down there and they film it. And I was feeling really good about my hour right there. I mean, the cake was pretty much baked. I was adding some tags and stuff, for that hour that I was working on. And I did it, and the marketing team, kind of circled back to management, and they were like, man, he was really riding some lightning down there. So Alex Murray and Tim Sarkis, my managers, they were like, hey, just send us your hour. We want to see where you're at. We haven't seen it in quite some time. I sent it to them, and they got back to me at like 1 a.m, that same day. And Alex was like, man, this is really he said, not only is it funny, which is great. He goes, it's a lot of original writing. He said, it's a lot of stuff that I don't see anybody talking about. So we sent it to Netflix. One thing turned into another. A month later, they were ready to ink a deal to get a Netflix special. So you were there on a pretty cool weekend where it all started to change. And a side note, because, I'm a little bit of a chip on the shoulder type guy. That club told me if I sold out that sold room, I'd come back the next year and they'd give me the main room. Well, they were hesitant on giving me the main room, and it was a pretty bad deal. So me and my agent go, well, we're going to do a theater and show them. And then we sold out that theater in a month. And you don't get back at clubs very often. And I'm not even saying their name, but we don't connect dots. But it's what happened. They were a little hesitant to give me what they said they'd give me if I sold out that small room. So we went above them, and it feels good to feel good, my man. And so now we're working on trying to sell out this second theater date.
Wow. I knew when we were working together, like all the shows we did were sold out. And I remember us talking the next time you come back, we'll work together again in the big room. So that's, a lot of behind the scenes business we won't get into that you and I have to discuss.
Just a little peek at your day going.
We're going to change the name of the show to the Comedy Tea. That's what it's going to be. So, some of your favorite jokes of mine are about food. You talk about a lot of relatable things, but since this is like for ArtsATL, what is some of your favorite food here in Atlanta?
Oh, man, I'm so glad you asked. The food in Atlanta is just unreal, but I'm going to tell you, I got a special tie to a place. The bar where I started my comedy that I ran while I was in college and such is a part ownership Fox Brothers Barbecue in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And I love Fox Brothers Barbecue. I ate there like when they were kind of first getting started. Now it's it's a little bit of a worn out name. Everybody knows about it, yada, yada. I'm not breaking news with this, but Fox Brothers Barbecue is some of my favorite food on planet Earth. They're macaroni and cheese, any of their pulled pork, ribs, wings, yada, yada. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Also, this is a pretty lame answer for some Atlanta people, but the Varsity was what I always loved. When I would come visit Atlanta with my dad and my family, we would go down to the Varsity. What do you have? What do you have? I got one more that I love. It's not around anymore, but I believe it's Gladys Knight's Chicken and Waffles. Do you remember that, Joe?
Yep, for sure. Yeah. That
place was unreal. Nothing like bringing up a joint nobody can go to anymore. But yeah, Fox Brothers is an immediate stop for me. And I know I'm forgetting. There's another one that's called like home something. Homegrown. My gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. That place is unreal. So yeah, definitely. And any of the Waffle Houses, it's like when you go to a Waffle House in Atlanta, it's like going to a Walmart in Northwest Arkansas. People are corporate's not far. You know what I mean? You're usually going to get a pretty decent product. I don't know if you've ever been to the Walmarts in Northwest Arkansas, but Joel, they got fountains out front, buddy.
Wow.
That's just a different game. But some of the Waffle Houses in the Atlanta area are pretty top notch too. I mean, when you got the big dogs just right down the street, people play a little tighter to the vest. So those are what I would go with.
Yeah, all great restaurants if you need a nap before noon, for sure.
Oh, yeah. And I'm doing this interview live from my Rascal scooter. So you should just take whatever advice I got. I'm just out here with a bumper sticker, the No Feet Fleet. So,
well, in your Netflix special, Nostalgic, people can go watch now. You cover a lot of awesome topics, like I mentioned, from food to family to life in the 90s versus today. How do you know a topic is ripe for comedy?
I mean, I don't think about it like as a topic ripe for comedy necessarily. I just try to think of relatable things. And honestly, it's not even relatable. It's things that I've personally ran into, that I've seen, that I've touched, and that's a lot more relatable than you might think. And really, for me, it's you test things that are funny on stage, Joel, but you also test to see if things are relatable. You don't always know if a thought or a premise is relatable. Sometimes what's fun about comedy is you get up on stage and you learn that thought that you had, that you thought the whole world was going to follow you into the streets for, is just you. And that's not going to play on stage. It might be funny, it might be unique. And then another time you're a little, bashful to share something that you're like, this is ridiculous. And you share it and the whole audience is like, you're not going to believe this, Bubba, but we do the exact same thing. And so, I think the relatable thing, I think that's one of the things that's fun about, creating new bits and working stuff out, Joel, is you don't exactly know what's relatable until you put it out there and you feel a room out. It'd be hard to know immediately if something's relatable. So that's one of those things where in our art form, we get to feel that live.
Yeah, I think that's something people misunderstand about comedy, that they're funny at work, so they could be funny on stage, but they don't realize that for something to be funny in real life, to translate to stage requires just trying it on stage a lot, working a different angle into it. Like, there's a lot of work that goes into an end joke that people see in a Netflix special.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And I mean, yeah, that's exactly right. I got things I'm working on right now where I know it's funny. The premise is funny. I've got to find a way on stage to make it more relatable, to where it's going to connect all the dots with the audience. And maybe my unique experience makes more sense to the experience that they're having. So yeah, that's kind of the fun stuff in comedy.
Yeah, and you're at this interesting point in a comedian's career. You've basically developed this hour for over a decade. You release it on Netflix, and now it's a blank slate again. So what are you talking about now? I know you just had a son as well, so congrats on that.
Thank you very much.
We're both new dad club now. I know I saw your son with you at Jimmy Fallon when you performed on that.
It was a great experience. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of just following, wherever my stream of conscious takes me in my writing and where I'm at on stage. I don't really set out on what my hour's going to be. I like to kind of look up about 20 or 30 minutes in and look at the direction we're going in and start to kind of lean into it. That's what happened with Nostalgic. I didn't go out to write, that hour on just being nostalgic, but one thing led to another. And then once I looked at my set, I go, okay, well, let's try to think of some more relatable, fun, situations, bits, things that happened when we were growing up that I can stack into this hour to kind of go the same direction we're working in. So, right now I'm all over the place on stage, mainly just trying to do new stuff, work on new stuff. And eventually I'll kind of put the puzzle together. You got to move stuff around, to get the right flow in the set that you want. I'll always be talking about food. I'll always be talking about my temper. There's just no way around it. I mean, there's just some guys that are like that. I mean, Jim Gaffigan is going to talk about some food. Nate's going to talk about some food. I've heard even Nate be like, I wish I could talk about food less, but it's hard. It's hard when you have a pen in one hand and an oatmeal pie in the other, to not write about it. You know what I mean? But I got a brand new joke that I wrote about redbirds, about cardinals in your backyard, which I'm really, because just something, about, your dead relatives visiting you. It's just really fun. So unique original stuff is what I really like to put out.
Yeah, and you are, without a doubt, man, just one of the most unique comics I've ever seen. I'm so grateful to say that we've worked together and that we're now friends, and grateful that you took the time to do this, because you almost selling out Center Stage now twice is just so huge. I've seen so many amazing comics there and got to perform there before, gratefully. So please, what do you want people to know about the shows here coming up on May 27th and 28th, and how to get tickets and all that? Because Atlanta needs to show up for this.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Joel. And you're right. We've definitely got a great friendship. I mean, you're funny as heck, and you have been for a long time. And these series where you've been interviewing comics and stuff, it's really unique. I do a ton of interviews. I'm like on a crazy press run for this Netflix special. And I tell people, I think it's because you're such a good comic, but you're also such a great interviewer. I don't know anybody that plays both sides of the field as well as you're doing right now. So anytime you want to talk to me, Joel, I'll definitely take that time. And you know what? We'll see if we can get you a part of these shows here too. It's going to be fun. The Wednesday show, I know people. Wednesday's wild, but when you sell out, you got to live a rock style lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So I got Wednesday. We got about 60% of the tickets sold. I'm going to have a bunch of new material. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of stuff about being a father. Some more stuff about New York City and my travels. And I can't wait. I've been working hard on this new hour, and Atlanta is one of my favorite places to perform. My most viral video ever is about the Atlanta airport. So, but I do have a lot of love for the city. Excited to come back. DerrickStroup.com is my website. That's where you can get the tickets. So you swing by, grab those. We will have a meet and greet. I cannot wait to see everybody.
There you go. I know it's a Wednesday, and I promise you this will be well worth your time. Derrick Stroup is no doubt one of the funniest comics out today, and definitely going to be one of those names that you said, oh, I wish I saw him when he was at center stage. And Derrick, thanks again for joining us.
Yeah, of course, Joel. Thanks for having me, buddy.
More information about Derrick Stroup and his Atlanta shows this weekend is at DerrickStroup.com. Joel, that was a great conversation, and Derrick is not wrong. You really are a fantastic interviewer.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And just like from doing interviews, it's a skill, just like anything else, that the more you do it, the more you learn and the better you get. But it's another part of, being home and not out on the road as much that I'm excited to do things like this for like ArtsATL and kind of use another skill that I haven't really put out there that much beyond my own podcast.
Fantastic. So coming up, ArtsATL senior editor Isadora Pennington brings us this month's art news brief. We'll be back in a minute.
Support comes from the Atlanta Opera, presenting Richard Wagner's Twilight of the Gods, the sweeping and unforgettable conclusion to the legendary Ring Cycle, sung in German with English supertitles. This Tomers Walloon production stars Stefan Vinke and Lisa Lindstrom, reprising their roles from last season's production of Siegfried, on stage May 30th through June 7th at Cobb Energy Performing Arts Center. More information and tickets are at atlantaopera.org.
Welcome back to the ATL Arts Collective. I'm Kim Drobes, here with our special guest co-host, comedian Joel Byars.
Yay! Hey, Kim. Okay, how about we get some news from the Atlanta art scene?
Absolutely. And for that, we welcome now Isadora Pennington. The ArtsATL senior editor joins us monthly for our ATL Arts Collective news brief. Hi, Isadora.
Hey, Kim. Thanks for having me on the show.
Pleasure to have you here. So what do you have for us today?
Well, we've got some big news today, and it's something that actually affects us, ArtsATL and the ATL Arts Collective. CTR's Culture Studios, the initiative helping transform the former CNN Center into a dynamic creative hub, has announced its first partnerships. And you'll have a space there, is that right?
It's so right. So for the unfamiliar, CP Group, the new owners and developers of the former CNN building, now called the CTR or Center, has created a cultural partnership and lease agreement to bring CTR Culture Studios to the building. So this is going to include working artist studios, cultural programming, and public-facing creative experiences. The space will also serve as kind of a hybrid incubator and platform where creative professionals can produce work and engage directly with the community. And CTR Culture Studios will indeed be the new home for the podcast. The ATL Arts Collective will have an office close to the Artist Incubator wing, and then there will also be a separate podcast studio for recording. I am over the moon and so grateful for this opportunity. It's so exciting because I'll be able to capture these stories from artists who are working there while being part of this massive change to one of Atlanta's most storied media buildings. It's wild.
That is so awesome. And you'll be in good company. Teeling Dance will also be based at CTR Culture Studios and will provide youth arts programming, public space activations, and fellowships. The collaboration to create CTR Culture Studios consists of notable local organizations, including ASHA Advisory, the Creatives Project, Fulton County's Public Art Futures Lab, Downtown Atlanta Incorporated, and of course, CP Group, the owner and developer of the building. Applications are open now on ASHA Advisory's website for Atlanta-based artists, creators, and cultural collaborators. It sounds like this space will not only foster artists as they compose new works, but will also serve as a vibrant destination for the arts in Atlanta. I can't wait to see it come to life.
Oh my gosh, same. This is so exciting.
Next up, I want to highlight some of the arts and wellness programming that has been taking place across the city, and specifically at the Atlanta Contemporary. Just last weekend, 2027 Edge Award recipient Amanda Gray Plattner, who is a resident studio artist there, hosted a symposium titled Who Gets to Sustain a Career in the Arts? During the event, which was moderated by Bethany Stevens, artists Plattner, Jessica Elaine Blinkhorn, Megan Mosholder, and Victoria Duggar discussed inequities in arts institutions for artists with disabilities, from who gets to show their work to who is hired to fill essential arts leadership roles, in a candid and important conversation. I'm including a link to the booklet that Plattner made from the event in our News Briefs article on ArtsATL. So if you'd like to learn more about this topic, make sure you click through and read it for yourself.
Oh, and I do want to learn more. I will read that. This is such important and necessary conversations to be had.
Yeah, I think that Plattner really did a great job putting together that event, and it is important that we talk about it. The Atlanta Contemporary is also set to host a panel and events in celebration of the recently passed Georgia House Resolution 1007. If you heard Jordan Owen's recent story for the podcast, you know this is the first of its kind in the nation, and it moves the arts out of the leisure column and directly into the world of mental health care. The fact that it happened here, I think, serves as confirmation of something we already know. Atlanta is truly a hub for the arts. On May 21st, Performance Hypothesis, an Atlanta-based arts and health consulting group, will bring national and local arts advocates together for an interactive panel on the future of arts and well-being in the city. Guests include Conrhonda Baker of the Community Foundation for Greater Atlanta, Ali John Zarabi, MD from Emory University in Healthcare, Sunil Iyengar, Director of Research and Analysis at the National Endowment for the Arts, and Adrienne Jefferson, Executive Director of the City of Atlanta Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs, who, Kim, you spoke to earlier about the Atlanta Jazz Festival.
That's right.
Following the panel, there will also be an interactive arts activation, and proceeds from the event will go to Rise to Recovery, an organization that uses the arts to help with recovery from substance abuse addiction. Pretty cool stuff.
Indeed. You know, you said having Prop 1007 pass here in Georgia is proof that Atlanta is truly an arts hub, and you're absolutely correct. But let's think about for a minute how amazing this really is. Georgia, at times the reddest of red states, is now at the forefront of the arts as medicine movement. This just makes me so incredibly proud.
It's really important that we see all of the ways that arts help us, and I think it's great that they're doing so much programming around it. And lastly, I just want to shout out two Atlanta-based artists for their recent accomplishments. As you and Adrienne Jefferson talked about earlier, George F. Baker III, who was among ArtsATL's Ones to Watch in fall of 2025, has been announced as the featured artist whose work will appear on the 2026 Atlanta Jazz Fest poster and t-shirt. I just love Baker's playful and joyous work, and I think his design perfectly encapsulates the spirit of the event. So this definitely feels like a win for the city of Atlanta and for this legendary local music festival.
Oh, for sure. I am such a fan of GFB3. So we've talked in the past for other radio shows, and we discussed his desire to constantly try to bring out the inner child in all of us. And we've talked about the fact that he takes inspiration from the 1970s Schoolhouse Rock series. So you can't drive around the city without seeing Baker's work. And for me, it always makes me start singing Schoolhouse Rock songs like Conjunction Junction and 3 is the Magic Number. But maybe that's just me, and I am confident I am showing my age here.
I mean, even I know that one. Conjunction Junction, what's your function? Okay, and then lastly, another local artist making waves is Haitian-American artist Patrick Eugene, whose moody and pensive portrait paintings are featured in SCAD Fash's Dior Crafting Fashion exhibit, on view now through August 23rd. For his designs, Patrick drew on his Haitian heritage and employed leather and textile patchwork adorned with pearls, as a nod to Haiti's nickname, the Pearl of the Antilles. The exhibit is actually the first presentation of the House of Dior in the southeastern United States, so I definitely got to go check out that show.
Oh, I would love to join you. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, SCAD Fash is a great spot to check out. And that's it for this month's news. I'll be back in a few weeks to keep you updated with all the art news that you need to know. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you, Isadora. Always a pleasure.
You can read Isidore's full news brief on artsatl.org. And now it's time for the ArtsATL's Best Bets with executive editor Shane Harrison. This week, his mix includes the return of Hot Jambalaya, the American Astronaut for Plazadrome, and Shakespeare Out of a Hat.
It's Memorial Day weekend, and in Atlanta, that means it's time for the Atlanta Jazz Festival. You've already heard a bit about that, but it isn't the only way to hear jazz this weekend. Before the festival proper gets underway on Saturday, the organizers will mark the centennial of Miles Davis's birth with a concert featuring the Miles Electric Band at Atlanta Symphony Hall on May 22nd. And on Saturday, May 23rd, spend an evening of jazz with Boney James, Norman Brown, and Alex Bugnon at the Mabel House Barnes Amphitheater. These three smooth jazz masters have become local favorites. Up in Alpharetta, the Velvet Note will host the Myrna Clayton Experience on Friday, May 22nd. Clayton has been dubbed America's Songbird, and she and her ensemble are based in Atlanta. They're known for bringing their blend of jazz, soul, gospel, and pop to worldwide audiences as ambassadors of great American music. For theater fans, this weekend sees the return of one of last year's most popular local productions, Hot Jambalaya. The show's run at Dad's Garage proved so popular that Horizon Theater will host an encore from May 22nd through June 21st. In our review, ArtsATL's Benjamin Carr wrote that, quote, "The cast is great, the jazzy songs are delightful, it all mixes surprisingly well, like a subversive off-Broadway production that will develop a cult following," unquote. If you missed it in 2025, here's your chance to see what the fuss was all about. Speaking of things with a cult following, the Plaza Theater will be screening The American Astronaut. This bizarre science fiction musical comedy finds an astronaut delivering a cat to a saloon on an asteroid where he meets his former dance partner and renowned interplanetary fruit thief, the Blueberry Pirate. His payment for the service is a homemade cloning device, and things get even weirder as the plot progresses. Check out this Plazadrome presentation in conjunction with the folks from Videodrome on Thursday, May 21st. More theatrical fun is in store at the Shakespeare Tavern, where the company of actors will take on a bard-based challenge. Shakespeare Out of a Hat is a series of one-night-only events sprinkled throughout the year where no one knows who's playing the parts until 2 minutes before the play begins. It's part improv, mostly Shakespeare, and a whole lot of outrageousness from a team of trained Shakespearean actors. And sometimes there's a dog. On Sunday, May 24th, they'll take on The Tempest. The Georgia Symphony Orchestra celebrates its 75th anniversary with its season finale at Symphony Hall on May 23rd. The stage will be filled with more than 400 performers, uniting the Georgia Symphony Orchestra and Chorus, the U.Z. Brown Society of Choraleers, the William P. Whalum Community Chorus, the Georgia Spiritual Ensemble, and the Georgia Youth Symphony Orchestra. They'll perform works by Holst, Mahler, Shostakovich, and more. At Mount Pisgah Church in Johns Creek, the Johns Creek Symphony Orchestra will welcome David Coucheron, concertmaster of the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra, and his sister, pianist Julie Coucheron, for Mendelssohn's Double Concerto in D minor. The program also includes Mendelssohn's Scherzo from A Midsummer Night's Dream and his Symphony No. 4 under the direction of Henry Chang. It's the orchestra's season finale, and it takes place on Saturday, May 23rd. And don't forget that the reason for the holiday is to honor and mourn military personnel who died in service. There will be many ceremonies in local communities to mark the day on Monday, May 25th, including in Roswell, Norcross, Alpharetta, and at Marietta National Cemetery. For the ATL Arts Collective and ArtsATL, I'm Shane Harrison.
Shane actually curates an even longer list each week, and you can find all of his picks at artsatl.org.
Well, Joel, there is nothing funny about this, but we are at the end of the show. Before we go, I want to give you a giant thank you for being the co-host today. It has been such a pleasure to have you on with us and to get a chance to work with you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to help the ArtsATL mission however I can. And if anyone enjoyed hearing me on here and would like to connect, the easiest way would be to go to my website, joelbyerscomedy.com, where you can get info about how to book me for an event.
Perfect. Thank you again, Joel. And thank you for listening to the ATL Arts Collective. You can join us on social at ArtsAtlanta as well as at ATL Arts Collective. Let's lift artists shaping Atlanta together. Show up, spread the word, and be part of the community. You'll find pictures and links related to today's show at atlartscollective.com. And while you're there, consider buying the podcast a cup of coffee via our Patreon page. Your donation helps cover production costs, research, reporting, and of course, coffee. Stay with us. I'll be right back with a look at what's coming up next week.
Support comes from Swan Coach House Gallery, welcoming you to their Summer Invitational. The annual celebration of craft and fine arts opens with a reception on May 28th and remains open through July 30th. More information is at swangallery.org.
Welcome back. While you're listening right now, please subscribe, rate, and review. It really does help other people find the show. Our theme music is K. Michelle Dubois' Hit the Deck from her album Astral Heart, courtesy of Wicked Superb Records. Next week on the show, Gulch Magazine's Jasmine Henschel and E.C. Flaming join us for their monthly segment, Making It Work. Each month, they talk to a local creative about what it takes to build a career in the arts without becoming a starving artist. Plus, we'll hear about some of Atlanta's hidden murals, and Shane Harrison will have his best bets for the weekend. The ATL Arts Collective is part of the Wordplay Collective podcast family. Check out our sister show, In Pieces with Our Land, for conversations with artist Our Land. Thanks again for listening. I'm Kim Drobes, and this is the ATL Arts Collective.